Right, I've been having a think recently about Tyson Fury's apparent retirement and who the biggest loser is in this situation, you know. Is it the fans? Is it Turki Al-Sheikh, Frank Warren? Is it Tyson Fury himself? And I've come to the conclusion that it is none of the above. The biggest loser for me in Tyson Fury's retirement will be Anthony Joshua. Because if we take Tyson Fury's retirement claims at face value, then AJ's missed out big time here. Contractually, he had the opportunity to go in for the immediate rematch with Daniel Dubois, and it doesn't take a genius to work out AJ's thought pattern now, does it? You can take the immediate rematch, have an instant chance at redemption if you can beat Daniel Dubois, but at the same time as that, you're not going to have things on your terms as you have done for most of your career. Possibly, you may even be getting paid less than the first fight. And time frame wise, you're going to have less time to be able to prepare than I believe that Anthony Joshua would have wanted. Less time to recover, to recuperate, to get your head around what has just happened and to work out where you went wrong. Less time to formulate a game plan to potentially beat Daniel Dubois, and even, hypothetically, less time to shop around for a potential new trainer for that fight. Or you can sit it out and wait for Tyson Fury, because win, lose, or draw, Turki Al-Sheikh, Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren would have all been chomping at the bit to finally deliver the fight for the UK fan base between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. And therefore, in my opinion, that is exactly what AJ did. I mean, it's not even an opinion. That is literally what he did. He turned down the opportunity to take the immediate rematch against Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois has now been scheduled to fight Joseph Parker. And in the aftermath of Tyson Fury's loss to Alexander Usyk on multiple occasions now, Anthony Joshua has called for the fight with Fury to finally happen. But as we all know, Fury has gone and retired. And listen, if Fury is just playing games, I personally don't think that Turki Al-Sheikh is the man to be playing games with, and therefore, in the meantime, Anthony Joshua has apparently been given two options for his next fight, and they include former WBC World Heavyweight Champion Deontay Wilder and current heavyweight danger man Martin Bakole. But people, before we get into it and discuss all of that, welcome back to the Joey Knight Boxing channel. Please do me a massive favour right now. Hit a like on the video, and I always forget to ask you guys, but it's really, really important to the growth of the channel and for me to be able to keep banging out these type of videos for you lot, which, believe me, take a lot of hard work. Please subscribe to the channel. Around 85% of my regular viewers aren't subscribed to the channel, so whether you agree with my takes or not, please just do it, because then I can carry on bringing you these videos. Now, as for Anthony Joshua opting to not take the immediate rematch with Daniel Dubois, I really don't blame him. Regular viewers of the channel will know that I picked Tyson Fury as a favourite to beat Anthony Joshua if that fight was ever made, but at the same time, I don't go along with this whole negative media narrative that people don't want to see this fight, both men are past it. I still believe that this is a high level fight. I still believe that this is a competitive fight. I still believe that both men have a lot to give in this current heavyweight division, and I still believe that if Tyson Fury against Anthony Joshua was to be made at Wembley Stadium, it would be the biggest fight in the heavyweight division. And despite me picking Tyson Fury to win that hypothetical fight, I do actually believe that the style of Tyson Fury is one that is probably way more appealing to AJ right now than the style of Daniel Dubois. And if I'm being completely honest with you, I'd even go as far to say it's a less risky fight at this moment in time. I do believe that Tyson Fury's boxing IQ is definitely beyond that of Daniel Dubois, but timing is everything. everything. And Daniel Dubois is hungry right now. He's on form, and I think that both in the ring and mentally, that makes a huge difference. And the key thing for me is that Dubois is probably a harder puncher than Tyson Fury. And not only that, Dubois is still young. And therefore, if you don't take the fight with Daniel Dubois at this moment in time, there's always that opportunity that the fight will be there down the line if you continue to box on. Whereas with Tyson Fury, I do believe that there's a small window of opportunity to make this fight. So as I say, no shade at all on AJ for not taking that Daniel Dubois fight and sitting out and waiting for Tyson Fury. But if Tyson Fury isn't to come back, then I want to know from you guys in the comment section below, who would you rather see Anthony Joshua fight next? Would you rather see him go in with Deontay Wilder, or would you rather see him go in with Martin Bakole? Both of which, by the way, apparently do have fights scheduled. However, you would expect that the allure of boxing Anthony Joshua would way override any of their current plans, and Turki Al-Sheikh would be able to work his magic. And once upon a time, during Fury's hiatus from boxing, Joshua against Wilder was the biggest fight in the sport. And I do think that it has lost a lot of that shine now. I know that you could kind of sell it in the same way in terms of two former world heavyweight champions both coming off losses, and that's the same as Anthony Joshua against Tyson Fury, but in my opinion, the context of it makes it completely different. Because Anthony Joshua's coming off one loss in his last 6 fights, and prior to that loss, the 2 fights before under Ben Davison, a lot of us were thinking that Anthony Joshua was back to the old AJ, back to his best. Maybe even this was the best version of him. And Tyson Fury has suffered back-to-back losses, but he has suffered back-to-back losses against a man who potentially has a very, very valid claim to be in the pound-for-pound #1. So I don't think that anyone can deny that Tyson Fury is still a force in the heavyweight division. Whereas with Deontay Wilder, it's just different, isn't it? 4 losses within his last 5 fights. 3 of those losses coming by knockout. And when he was getting knocked out, unlike Anthony Joshua, he didn't really go down swinging. I would go as far to say he's looked gun-shy in those losses. And despite Deontay Wilder talking a good game at this moment in time, he's saying the right things, he's training hard, he's motivated, he's ready to come back. I just don't know, man. Like, I'm not sure he has it in here anymore to be able to pull the trigger when he is in the ring. And he does have a fight apparently scheduled against American journeyman Curtis Harper, who's actually best known for this moment.
Fighting out of Jacksonville, Florida, Curtis the Herd Harper.
Gentlemen, you can work right here. This is good. It's good right here.
He likes to bring an end to opponents in quick fashion, and Curtis Harper has walked out of the ring.
Wait, what?
I cannot believe this.
I've never seen this.
Has
And the
walked
fans here
out
in
of the
Minnesota
ring.
are really upset right now because
Another bit of boxing folklore for you lot there, and I know that you lot will tell me in the comment section it was something to do with pay and whatnot, but either way, I'm hardly excited for that one. Now, ironically, Harper that night was supposed to be fighting Nigerian heavyweight Efe Ajagba, who after suffering a loss to Frank Sanchez has built his way back up and now aligned himself in a position to be able to take on Martin Bakole in what I believe would be a final eliminator. But as far as I know, no actual deal has been signed for that one yet. And do you know what? Even if it has, mate, I'm sure His Excellency can pull a few strings. He can sort out a Ajagba with a nice little fight, a nice little payday. And if he was able to do so, then I'm just going to put it out there right now. I would so much rather see Anthony Joshua against Martin Bakole than I would Anthony Joshua against Deontay Wilder. Because despite coming off a loss, at this point right now, I would pick AJ as a strong favourite against Deontay Wilder. And I know this is talking worst case scenarios here, right? But imagine we got the version of Anthony Joshua that fought Robert Helenius and the version of Deontay Wilder that fought Joseph Parker. fuck me, that fight could end up putting a glass eye to sleep. Or I could be wrong, and it could be a good fight, who knows? But eventually, I do feel like Anthony Joshua would pull the trigger quicker than Deontay Wilder would, and I think that he would get the former American champion out of there. And in doing so, I think that Deontay Wilder would pretty much be done, and I already just kind of feel like he really is a shell of his former self. But listen, I always bang on telling you lot not to write off heavyweights, so maybe I'm wrong on that one. But here's what I'm not wrong on. Anthony Joshua against Martin Bakole is, to me, a way more interesting fight. It is a fight with a higher possibility of being a more competitive fight than Anthony Joshua against Deontay Wilder. Now, sparring is sparring, and I know it doesn't always translate in the ring. We know that Hrgovic did a bit of a number on Daniel Dubois in sparring, and then Daniel Dubois went on to do a number on Filip Hrgovic. I myself have had the better had of me in sparring by opponents that I've beaten in the ring in actual competitive fights before. However, if we do go on sparring, then one thing that most boxing fans know is that Martin Bakole is the lineal champion of sparring.
You sparred Daniel Dubois?
I sparred.
And how did that go?
Twice. I stopped him twice in the sparring. He knows, and in Tim, they knows, yeah. If it Usyk, I don't think he'll say yes, because I've stopped him as well in the Dubai and sparring.
There's Usyk behind you. Looking at Alexander Usyk right now, do you believe that Martin Bakole could stop him?
That's the man I want.
He says he beat Usyk, Sergey. What do you make of that?
Yeah, this legend for sparring partner. He knows what's there. I know this guy.
Were you there when they sparred?
This strong guy. I know this guy.
What happened with Daniel Dubois in the spar?
I broke his nose twice and stop him. Does not lie, because he will never come say, no, I'm lying. Jojo's the same. You see the video I posted.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Sparring doesn't really mean all that much. One fighter could specifically be trying to work on one move rather than winning the rounds. That same fighter could have done his strength and conditioning, his sprints or something like that day, and therefore could have not been as good a version of himself as you would get in the ring. And I do completely understand that. But regardless of sparring, I've watched a lot of Martin Bakole in the ring, and I've got to be honest with you, I think that this man is a beast. He's a throwback fighter, and despite having that one single loss on his resume, I truly believe that Martin Bakole is the heavyweight danger man right now, that is ready at this moment in time to step straight into a massive fight, and that could be a fight that he causes a huge upset in. And as I said, I'm constantly reminding you guys not to write off the likes of Joshua, Parker, Dillian White, Zhilei Zhang, Hrgovic, so many more, just because they've taken a loss, and therefore I don't really devalue the stock of Martin Bakole because of the fact that he lost to Michael Hunter, over 6 years ago now. And since then, let's be honest, he's looked like a bit of a wrecking machine, hasn't he? He's handed first losses as an underdog to the likes of Tony Yoka and Jared Anderson in both fighters' home countries, by the way. And against lesser level opposition, he's still got the job done in fashion. It may seem like a distant memory now, but not long ago, people felt that Joe Joyce was the division's danger man. Then it became Zhilei Zhang, but right now, I do feel like it's Martin Bakole, and I feel that some people might overlook just how good Bakole is from a technical standpoint. I mean, yeah, he's a big man that can stand in the pocket and eat a shot and deliver one back twice as hard, but he's more than a durable brawler. Bakole has a great chin, a decent engine, especially against the bigger guys, and in my opinion, his shot selection is great. He varies his punches, and most importantly, once he gets you on that hook, he usually doesn't let you off. Many people have compared him to George Foreman, haven't they? And despite the fact that he's come nowhere near achieving what the legend in George Foreman was able to achieve in boxing, I can see why those comparisons are made. And all of this being said, right, it does beg the question, well, why would Anthony Joshua want to go in with Martin Bakole, especially off the back of looking bad in his last fight against another pressure fighter in Daniel Dubois? But I did note in a recent video that I noticed recently recently at the Ring Magazine Gala Awards, and that was Martin Bakole and Anthony Joshua not only coming together and speaking, but doing a face-off. And listen, when you do a face-off with another fighter, you know what's going to happen. It's going to create a bit of an internet media frenzy, and therefore it is going to build interest in a fight. So if you don't want that fight, you don't really want interest built in that fight. And not only that, Anthony Joshua said this in an interview.
Any chance of, if not necessarily right in Nigeria, of fighting on the African continent at any point in your career?
Maybe if I fight Martin Bakole, I think that makes sense. He's from Congo. So it'll be like two African giants coming together. I think we should end up going to Congo and being the first heavyweights to fight in the arena that Muhammad Ali and George Foreman fought in. That'll be, look at that history again.
So like AJ just said, the element of this fight potentially being put on in Africa is something that would really, really be legacy defining, in my opinion. And world title on the line or not, you can't deny that it would be somewhat reminiscent of the Rumble in the Jungle, and the opportunity to put on that sort of event does not come round very often. Rumour has it that it could even take place in the same stadium that the Rumble in the Jungle did between Ali and Foreman. Not only that, I've already shown you the clips of Bakole speaking about dismantling half the heavyweight division in sparring, but what about when he was asked about the spars between him and Anthony Joshua?
But the first time I went to spar Anthony Joshua, there was a lot of people in the gym. When I jump in, the first 4 rounds, and the coach take everyone out and they shut the door. And I was surprised next day when I came for sparring, there was nobody in the gym, only me and Joshua. 8 rounds. That was it. Good. You can ask Eddie Hearn was there. That was a fight.
How did it go?
50-50 that day, but that was a fight. And Anthony Joshua come and check my hand and say, yo, I never get sparring like this.
See, you heard it there, 50-50 spars, and styles really do make fights. If AJ came in with a better gas tank than Bakole and was able to get up on his toes a little bit more and maybe use what I believe he has in superior hand speed and maybe even foot speed off the back of those spars, maybe AJ would be confident that he's got the beating of Martin Bakole. And on an off note, by the way, if Anthony Joshua was to fight Bakole, then you would have to give him so much plaudits, in my opinion, for the bravery and the courage to do so, because that's not something that many heavyweight fighters that we've witnessed would want to do. Coming off the back of not only a loss, a really, really devastating loss, to get in there with what I've already called the heavyweight danger man off the back of that loss would be something that would cement Anthony Joshua as one of the most courageous heavyweights of this era. And that bravery was already there to see, by the way, in his last fight. Despite the fact he was taking a shellacking against Daniel Dubois, he still stayed in there. He still persevered, and when he smelt blood, albeit to his detriment, he still went for the kill, didn't he? But all of that being said, here's where I'm going to upset a lot of AJ fans right now, and possibly a lot of UK fight fans, because if this fight was to be made, then I would be making Martin Bakole a favourite in this one. I feel like momentum is huge in the heavyweight division, and the hunger can be even bigger. Bakole has never had a sniff of the cash that AJ has made. He's never been handed to him what AJ has, and his climb through the ranks has been one that will have been way tougher to navigate than Anthony Joshua's, coming off the back of winning an Olympic gold medal. And I think all of this could serve as a fire inside of Bakole to really seize the opportunity. Not only that, I think that the fact that we've never seen Martin Bakole dropped is relevant. I know he hasn't fought at the same level as Anthony Joshua, but you know, you look at that Michael Hunter loss, and word has it that Martin Bakole suffered a pretty bad shoulder injury in that fight, and even after taking so many punches from Michael Hunter, Bakole still stayed on his feet in that one. And therefore, I would lean towards him having a better chin at this moment in time than Anthony Joshua. But that doesn't mean that Anthony Joshua doesn't have attributes in which I feel excel Martin Bakole's. I already said that I think he has quick quicker hands and quicker feet than Martin Bakole. He's obviously beaten better level of opposition and on a more consistent basis than Martin Bakole. And Anthony Joshua has got off the canvas to win a fight before, which Martin Bakole hasn't had the opportunity to do so yet. So for all those reasons, there's absolutely no way that I would completely write AJ off in this one. I'm just saying that my money would be on Martin Bakole, because when I think about that list of attributes that I've just spoken of, right, quite a lot of them I'm drawing from fights that are a while back now. And the confidence of Martin Bakole, aligned with the fact that he's just as big as Anthony Joshua, probably got just as long a reach, slightly younger, and also he is the man that I would back to be able to come out on top in a shootout should the fight transpire into one. And I believe that from a technical standpoint, Martin Bakole is able to make the fight a shootout with Anthony Joshua. And therefore, that's why I believe that the Congolese fighter has the ability and probably would win this fight if it was made right now. But I'm so interested either way to hear what you guys think. Listen, Tyson Fury could come out and do another video from his car and say, do you know what, I'm not retired anymore, and then all of this might be put to bed. But if Tyson Fury is to stay retired and Anthony Joshua does not want to sit around and wait to see if he changes his mind, then out of those two fights that Turki Al-Sheikh has suggested, who would you guys rather see? Would you rather see AJ run it with Deontay Wilder, or would you rather see him go in there in a battle between two men in Africa that would be, as I say, almost a throwback to the Rumble in the Jungle, and take on Martin Bakole? And if that was to happen, who would you pick in that fight? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you very much for sticking around to the end of another video, and please, please, please do me a massive favor, subscribe to the channel. It really, really does help me out. I will see you all in the next one.